Good morning. Welcome to Sunday worship at First Parish in Concord. My name is Gib Metcalf, and my pronouns are he, him, and I am honored to serve on the governing board. This is Martin Luther King Sunday, and at a time when the echoes of history are resounding dramatically around us in this present day, it is good to come together and to reflect on the lessons that Martin Luther King has left us with. First Parish is a member of the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations, and love lies at the center of all we strive to do and all we aspire to be. Welcome to all joining us both in our sanctuary and on Zoom. And if you are visiting or new to the congregation and need assistance during the service, please chat with your online Zoom host, if you're online, or see one of our ushers at the rear of the sanctuary. The parlor downstairs serves as our wiggle room where young ones can play, accompanied by their adult caregivers while the service streams on a large screen. Immediately after the service, stay for a coffee hour in the parish hall with food provided by the Committee on Ministry. There's some great food down there, so do come down. And there will also be members of the welcoming and membership team who will be available to answer questions and help you get connected. And as your governing board rep for the morning, I'll be available for questions and conversation as well, so do please come by and say hello. First Parish is a lively congregation with many ways to get involved. Please check out the bulletin inserted in the order of service for upcoming opportunities. Welcome once again. To gather and worship is a sacred act, and your presence among us is a blessing. We are glad and grateful that you are here.
The chalice is the symbol of our beloved Unitarian Universalist faith tradition. As we kindle the flame of our chalice this morning, please join me in reading the words on your screen and in your orders of service. The chalice we light today is a symbol of our faith. It binds us together as one people, a reminder that our strength is in our shared hope for the world, and that our common work is the creation of beloved community among ourselves and in the world. Dear ones, this morning, as we enter this sacred hour of worship, as we celebrate King Sunday and the birthday of one of the great prophets and justice leaders of the 20th century, let us open ourselves to hearing echoes of his struggle and our struggle. Let us open ourselves up to letting the wisdom of the past shed light on the deep wounds of the present. Let us open ourselves up to the ways that being in community together has the power to transform us and our perceptions of the world. So come this morning, come with your fears, come with your broken heart, come with your outrage. Come even with your ambivalence, your exhaustion, your despair, as we work together to alchemize these things into our prophetic witness. Let us garner conviction from King's sense of moral clarity. Let us garner courage from King's unparalleled bravery. And may this sacred hour help reconnect us to the faith that underscores it all. Come, let us worship together. Love is one of the forces that helps perform this holy alchemy. Our opening hymn this morning is Love Will Guide Us at number 131 in the gray hymn books. Please rise in body or in spirit and join in singing our opening hymn.
Open invite young people to come forward to the first few pews. And as they do so, I just want to remind people, parents with preschoolers, there is little RE available today in the Milldam Nursery School space. I have 2 friends coming. Hooray, hooray! I see more friends coming. So, there was a national competition to have a special statue in Boston Common to honor the legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. And this is it. And it probably looks like this today because it's snowing outside. It was unveiled in 2023. When you think of, use your creative imagination now, when you think of a statue for a hero, what position does your body want to make when you think of a statue for a hero? Does anyone feel brave enough to do it? What do you think? Well, I'm up here already, so I can do it. When I think of a statue for a hero, I think of something like this. Or perhaps, because it's Martin Luther King Jr., something like this. Or maybe even like this. But what was remarkable about the person who won that national competition, his name is Hank Willis Thomas. He had this great idea, and he sent it in, and he really didn't think anyone would think anything of it. His idea was to create this. What is it? Yeah. It's a bunch of arms. But it's not just that. It was actually taken from a photograph of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his wife, Coretta Scott King, who was a fabulous activist in her own right, on the occasion of his winning the Nobel Peace Prize. If you can find that photograph, you will see that's not just a bunch of arms. It's actually the actual position of their arms when they were so excited after he won that prize. What do you think you would call this statue? Yeah. Do you know the name of it? What would you call it? Say it again. You forgot. Does anyone know what the name of it is? Adults can answer. The Embrace. And it's amazing because it is actual, as I said, an actual replica of that particular hug. But the artist said he wanted to honor the fact that these 2 people began in Boston. Did you know that, I'm going to talk some gossip, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. met his wife on a blind date in Boston in 1951. He happened to be studying for his PhD, that's where we get the doctor part, in theology at Boston University, where our own Reverend Jenna went. And she was studying to be a music education major at the New England Conservatory of Music. And they fell in love. And they hoped and they dreamed that they would make this world a better place. So this embraces both to think about the coming together of these 2 amazing individuals in the city of Boston, because his dream and all that he went on to do, as well as his tragic death, that vision was born in the city of Boston. So now, I invite everybody to find that photograph of them, because it's so amazing to see that photograph. And I invite you, when you can, maybe not on a snowy day, but someday, to go visit it in person. When you go visit it in person, yes, she's been there. Has anyone else already been there? Look around. So many people, you can talk to these people. So the cool thing about it is it's big. It is a bunch of arms, but they're big arms. You can stand right in the center. Right in the center. And when you do, the artist said he'd like you to do 2 things. Feel the embrace and look up at the sky and he hopes that you will have a holy moment. What is that, a holy moment? What is it? You know I'm going to tell you if you're not going to give a guess. What is a holy moment? A holy moment is love. Who said that? Love. When you feel embraced by all that is and at one with the earth below you and the sky above you, and feel a sense of both your place in time and all that might come after because of who you are in the world, that's a holy moment. So I have something that is a touchstone that came to us as a part of Jennifer's ministry with us. Yeah, there's more over there. And I want to invite each of you to squeeze it and put in there your love. On the stone, it says courage. After you feel like you've squeezed enough love in there, you can pass it on. In there is the word courage. Sometimes we have transcendent moments when we feel connected to all that is and what is holy and ready to make positive change in the world, and sometimes we forget. You carry with you the courage of this community. Each one of us does. Ooh, there's such good squeezing happening over here. Can you pass it on? And later in the service, there's going to be something happening with those courage rocks. I wanted to make sure that all of us had a chance to be a part of it. Today in Religious Exploration, I'm so lucky that our Racial Justice Action Group has agreed to be with our K through 5th grade group to celebrate the legacy of King, but also to talk about racial justice. Our Crossing Paths group has their final session about Judaism as we prepare to go visit Kerem Shalom. And our coming of age and youth service leaders are in the chapel sorting your donations. Thank you so much for them, for City Reach, which is an important ministry to the housing insecure in Boston. So lots of good things happening. And if you would please sing us off to our religious exploration.
Good morning. We are very blessed this morning that there were no special parish concerns this week. So let's spend these next few minutes in sacred contemplation. Spirit of life, God of many names and one holy breath, we begin by coming home to ourselves. In a world that demands we be constant, loud, and certain, we choose now to be quiet. I invite you to take a deep, cleansing breath. The kind of breath that expands the ribs and softens the shoulders. And as you exhale, let go of the tension in your jaw, the hurry in your step, and the noise of the week behind you. In the silence of this space at this time, I invite you to name your worries. Acknowledge the anxieties I have been whispering to you, the fears for your family, the weight of the headlines, the angst of uncertainty that tighten your chest. Do not try to solve them here. Simply name them. Bring them into the light of this community, knowing that when we carry our burdens together, the load is made lighter. Name them. Knowing that we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied to a single garment of destiny, we move from the I to the we. We come seeking a part of ourselves that can only be found in the presence of one another. We pause to hold the altar of our hearts. We breathe with those among us today who are dancing in the light of joy, celebrating new life or quiet triumphs. And we breathe with those who are walking through the valley of the shadow. We acknowledge the deep anguish in this world, the hollow ache of grief, and the exhaustion of those who feel that they've been fighting for justice far too long. Holy One, we lift up a special prayer for those in our communities who live in the paralyzing grip of fear. We remember our neighbors looking over their shoulder at the mention of ICE. Those for whom a knock at the door is a source of terror rather than a greeting. We hold the hearts of the children, little ones who go to school, with a heavy stone in their stomach, wondering if, when the bell rings, will they be returning home to an empty home? Today we hold Reverend Jennifer in this spirit of shared burden and collective hope. We lift our hearts for our minister, Reverend Jennifer. We thank you for the clarity of her spirit and for her willingness to listen when the call sounds in the midst of contemplation. As she prepares to travel to Minneapolis to stand against the surge of violence, we recognize her journey as an echo of the call Dr. King issued from Selma, a reminder that faith is a verb and solidarity is a physical act. We bless her as she extracts herself from the tangle of daily demands to answer the higher demand of spiritual leadership. Spirit, go with her. Give her courage. Keep her safe as she bears witness. May her presence in that interfaith circle be a testament to the values of this congregation. And may she returns with us with a spirit renewed and new learnings to help us, her people, to find our way forward in our own context. Jennifer, you go for us, but you also go with us. Our love and our commitment follow you to these frozen streets. We now turn our hearts to our children and the future that they will inherit. May they watch us in these times and see not just our words, but our courage. The courage of leaders like Jennifer and the courage of every person who stands up for the neighbor. May they witness how we deal with these shadows, not with despair, but with a fierce and steady love. We commit ourselves to standing with them side by side to build a brighter tomorrow. May our daily lives be the map that follow toward a country where everyone truly belongs, where liberty and justice for all is not a distant slogan, but a lived reality. We gather together to remember the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We give thanks to his life, but we know it is not enough to simply rejoice that such a man lived. We know that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So, Spirit of Justice, grant us the holy maladjustment Dr. King spoke of. When we feel overwhelmed, remind us that hope is a muscle that we have to build through action. Remind us that we are not powerless. We are not powerless. Inspire us to take the daily steps that makes the dream a reality. The steps of showing up at a rally or at a school board meeting to say, no, everyone belongs. The step of contributing to a bond fund or a legal defense for a neighbor in need. The step to being a stone of hope for someone else's mountain of despair. May we be the extremists of love. May we remember that the mantle of the prophet has been passed to us, to the ordinary, the imperfect, and the wonderful human people in these pews. Dr. King saw the promised land from the mountaintop. Help us now to build it in the valley. So in the spirit of remembrance, in the spirit of gratitude, and in the name of love that will not let us go, may it be so. Amen.
In our Unitarian Universalist faith tradition, generosity is a spiritual practice. For the month of January, the plate collection will be joyfully shared with Trust, transgender, religious professional, Unitarian Universalists together. Born out of commitment to the gifts, safety, liberation, and leadership of transgender people, Trust envisions a spiritual awakening that transforms Unitarian Universalism through worship, pastoral care, theology, education, and community, to the end that trans religious professionals and their ministries are thriving, and a new culture of solidarity and common purpose among UUs committed to countering intersecting oppressions is flourishing. Their mission is to support UU trans plus religious professionals, advocate for each other and each other's ministries, and transform Unitarian Universalism and our world. In this particular national moment that we are in, the work of Trust is truly saving lives. The offering collection will now be generously given and gratefully received.
In August 1956, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered a speech in Buffalo at the annual banquet of the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, the oldest intercollegiate historically African American fraternity in the country. He made his subject the birth of a new age, about which he reflected, "It is both historically and biologically true that there can be no birth or growth without birth and growing pains. Wherever there is the emergence of the new and the fading of the old, That is historically true. And so the tensions which we witness in the world today are indicative of the fact that a new world is being born and an old world is passing away. As for the biological truth of his statement, I can attest. I gave birth twice. The first time, my labor lasted somewhere around 52 hours. I know something about birth pains. I know something about the uncertainty and frustration and struggle and fear that accompanies a protracted birthing process. Today, nearly 70 years after that speech, it would seem we are still in the intense stages of birthing the new age that King invoked in his 1956 speech. That was 7 years before the March on Washington, 9 years before Bloody Sunday in Selma, 9 years before the Voting Rights Act, 12 years before King's assassination, 13 before Stonewall, 26 before the LA race riots, 57 before the founding of Black Lives Matter, and 59 before marriage equality. So much struggle and pain and fear, so much progress, and too many setbacks. One might wonder, how long can we continue to endure this labor? Do we have the strength and stamina to keep going? Can we bring the new world into being? 70 years is an awfully long labor. But let's put time in perspective. I did some math the other day and discovered that my 52 hours of labor represents just 0.037% of my entire lifespan. Today, I have been alive for almost exactly 51 years and 51 weeks. I'm just shy of an hour on that. That's 144,072 hours, so 71 hours. 52 hours is a minuscule 0.037% of 144,072 hours. Excuse me, a minuscule percentage of my entire lifespan, a blip. We can apply similar math to King's birth of a new age. Let's date the beginning of that historical birth process to the emergence of the civil rights movement in the mid-1950s, about the time of Brown v. Board of Education and the Montgomery bus boycott. That's just about 70 years ago. If we measure those 70 years against the 12,000-year span of human civilization, we get a percentage of 0.583, a mere half of a single percentage point. And you could, perhaps, more accurately measure those 70 years against the span of human existence, some 300,000 years, in which case we arrive at a percentage of 0.023. 70 years may feel interminably protracted in the span of a single generation, but it's a drop in the river of time. The swell of that revolutionary river rising against fascism and the surge of ICE in recent days reminds us that we are still laboring to birth King's new age. We can't know just how long our labor will take, but we are keeping at it. In his 1956 speech, King used a two-word phrase to describe the new world coming into being. He called it a beloved community. He described the beloved community as a society created in reconciliation, where, quote, all men live together as brothers, or as we would put it today, where all people live together as siblings. The idea of the beloved community is a concept that King popularized but did not originate. He likely first discovered it during those graduate education days at Boston University under the mentorship of his teacher, the minister, theologian, and civil rights activist Howard Thurman. In turn, Thurman inherited the concept of beloved community from the American philosopher and Harvard professor Josiah Royce, teacher who was the teacher to writer and scholar W.E.B. Du Bois, who was the first Black American to earn a PhD from Harvard. Yet it is through King that progressive religious thinkers, leaders, and communities like ours have come to embrace the galvanizing vision of the beloved community as a destination, an end on which we collectively set our sights and direct our shared energy. In 2024, when Unitarian Universalists voted to revise our statement of values and our covenant as an association, we codified that concept of the beloved community in that new language. We say in that statement that as individual members and congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association, we commit, quote, to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. For Royce, the beloved community was an ideal that invited human beings to transcend narrowness of self-interest through loyalty to a vision of the common good. For King, the beloved community was more than an ideal. It is also a realizable and achievable reality of a global society that human beings must struggle to bring about through a set of commitments and practices from how we act. And that includes, importantly, nonviolent resistance. Next week, Reverend Jenna will be exploring Howard Thurman's contributions to our understanding of the beloved community. For Unitarian Universalists today, the beloved community is our inheritance from Royce and Thurman and King and all who have lived and struggled and sometimes, as King did, died to bring it into being. We continue to shape its meaning in our lives. Our understanding of the beloved community continues to evolve. And one of the understandings that has crystallized for me as I've wrestled with this inheritance is that the beloved community is not just a destination, not just an end, as King put it. The beloved community is also the way. It's the destination and the way we get there. We get to the beloved community, that global vision, by acting as if we are already there, as if it already exists, by living according to its principles in the here and now. I think that's what King meant when he famously said that hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. We make our way to the one global society, the beloved community, where all are honored for their inherent belonging and all are free to contribute and to thrive. We get there by living according to those principles in the here and now, in the smaller scale communities where we naturally interact with one another, like here. It's overwhelming to imagine how one human being or even one institution could go about transforming a global society of 8.3 billion people. We have to approach the way there in parts. We have to transform the smaller scale communities we call our own into micro beloved communities, getting there one by one until all the interconnected communities comprise the beloved community. Those would be our families, our neighborhoods, social circles, schools, workplaces, churches, municipalities, the approachable places that we're already part of. All those spheres of influence where we live, work, and play. At the same time, we recall that communities, like people, are interdependent. They don't exist in isolation from each other. We need one another. So we join in solidarity with other communities when they are targeted by the forces of oppression, resisting the new age that is struggling to be born. We answer the call to solidarity when it comes. As Anderson so movingly shared with you in our prayer late last week, the call came to me and to faith leaders across the country from our beloved siblings in Minneapolis, where immigrant communities and their supporters are under siege by ICE. Another pang in the ongoing labor to birth the new age. It's fitting that the call has come on the eve of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. In 1965, as Anderson alluded to, it was by way of telegram that King issued an urgent call to clergy across the nation to come to Selma. And I know many of you will recall that your minister, Dana Greeley, was there in Selma before he served you. King wrote in that telegram, "In the vicious maltreatment of defenseless citizens of Selma, we have witnessed an eruption of the disease of racism which seeks to destroy all of America. No American is without responsibility. All are involved in the sorrow that rises from Selma to contaminate every crevice of our national life. The people of Selma will struggle on for the soul of the nation, but it is fitting that all America help to bear the burden. I call, therefore, on clergy of all faiths, representative of every part of the country, to join me for a minister's march to Montgomery. In this way, all America will testify to the fact that the struggle in Selma is for the survival of democracy everywhere in our land." Late last week, a multi-faith organizing collective in Minnesota issued a call in the tradition of King's call to Selma, intentionally echoing his words. They wrote, "In the targeted violence against immigrant communities from Latina and Somali neighborhoods, we are witnessing an eruption of corruption, racism, and the worship of money over life itself, now threatening the soul of this nation. The people of Minneapolis will continue to struggle for an end to suffering and violence and to redeem the soul of this nation, but this moment also demands that others come to witness what is being tested here, to learn from how communities are responding, and to help bear the burden together. What is unfolding in Minneapolis will not stay here. We therefore call on clergy and faith leaders of all faiths, representative of every part of the country, to join us for a day of witness and resistance. In this way, all who come will bear witness to the fact that the struggle in Minneapolis is for a new America, a new beloved community, and a new democracy everywhere in the world. My beloved friends, I will answer the call of this moment in our long labor. On Wednesday, I'll travel to Minneapolis to represent you. With me, I will carry a torch, blazing with all the passion and conviction and commitment and love that you bring to the struggle to birth King's new age, the new beloved community. When I return next Sunday, we will come together to reflect on my experiences in Minneapolis. Together, we will deepen and strengthen our commitment to be the beloved community our hearts know is possible. We've had oh so many glimpses of it here today alone, haven't we? To keep me company in Minneapolis, I would like to have you all with me in a tangible way. So I'm going to ask you to take part in a very simple ritual in the coming moments. Some of you will recall that ritual from my installation service last May that Reverend Amy alluded to. We blessed those stones emblazoned with the word courage, with a reminder that we take courage in community. So while the choir will be blessing us in song, we will pass around several of the stones. And when a stone reaches you, please take it in your hand and mindfully squeeze it and imbue it with a silent blessing. Something like, take courage in beloved community. Then pass along the stone to your neighbor. The stones will pass from the back of the sanctuary to the front. And our helpers will make sure that those of you scattered in the loft also get a stone to bless. And if you're joining on Zoom, I invite you to type your blessing into the chat, and we will save those blessings and download them so I can squeeze those stones with your blessings and bring them with me. I will keep them close. I will keep you close with me in Minneapolis. And I'll bring your love, and I hope you know that I leave my love here with you too.
Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Let this be our song. No one stands alone. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone. We're standing side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone. We're standing side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No, we
So I don't want to be up there for the closing words. I want to be down here in the circle with all of you. These closing words come from a colleague, Unitarian Universalist minister, Reverend Ranwa Hamami. I see you, the many. The many are the reason we are still here. The many are the reason we are still fighting. The many are the reason we are still loving. The many are the reason we are still creating. The many are the reason we will win. We see you, the many. Amen.
So, in this echo, in this resonance of the ritual that we all participated in, many of us are participated in at Jennifer's installation, we have more stones with our courage and our blessings imbued in them. And Jennifer, in taking those stones, you are living the call that this congregation gave to you when we called you, and that we expressed in your installation. This is what it looks like. And so we would like to echo that installation and sing the song that we sang at that ritual, one voice. I will begin it and invite you to enjoy. We're going to sing 3 of the verses, and I invite you to sing along. There you are. This is the sound of one voice, one spirit, one voice, the sound of one who makes a choice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of all of us, singing with love and the will to trust. Leave the rest behind, it will turn to dust. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of one voice, one people, one voice, a song for every one of us. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of
So before we have the postlude, I want to say, yes, this is what the call looks like. And this is what shared ministry looks like today. What tremendous gifts, spiritual gifts we are blessed with here. All of you teaching, singing, worshiping, being present, praying, leading, singing, ushering, taking care, giving. This is shared ministry. This is all of us. This is the ministry of the many. We're going to keep it going. We'll keep at it. We can do this. I love you.
Would you join us in the benediction? Go out into the world in peace. Have courage.